I saw that my friend Marc Maron is going to be in Albuquerque. I texted him, I know this is sold out, but can I scam my way in? And he's like, I don't know, the guy oversold the show. And he's like, just come on down, you can hang out in the back. I drove down to Albuquerque. We talked about comics we think are shit, about politics and his cats, getting kicked out of my parents' church. He ate cake and got caught up really good. It was fun. It's always great to see Mark, and I love it. It was showtime, and people were still filtering in. I don't know what it is about New Mexico crowds, but they show up at the last minute. Mark was like, F that. Like, Chad, get out there and do like 12 minutes. Give them time to get in and get settled down. I'm like, yeah, of course. And so I went out and I did my dumb stuff. Performing on that show, it was an honor and a pleasure and not something I take for granted. It was great. I really loved it. Mark's crowds are the best. And I brought Mark up. As soon as he got up there, he was shitting on me. He's like, I had to rescue Chad out of his school bus in the middle of the desert and get him back into civilization for a minute just to check on him and see if he's still alive. You know, they're dying. They're just dying. Fumbled around and got my phone on, and he had him rolling, man. Within seconds, just shitting on me.
Right, buddy?
Yeah.
You mad at me?
No, I love you.
It's so funny. He texted me. I'm like, yeah, you better come down. Talk about Burning Man for 15 minutes. You guys don't even know, man. When I met Chad Ryan in 2011 in Nashville, Tennessee, he was supposed to be on the show with me, and he got arrested that day.
Yes, 12 years ago, I got arrested and I missed the early show at Zany's one night. But he didn't say. I got out and I got there in time for the late show, and I told the story of that day on that show like a professional. He left that part out. But there's no shortage of stories of Chad Ryden getting arrested. So come to a show, maybe hear one. I don't know. See me get arrested again. I don't know. Billy Wayne Davis was with us that time in Nashville, and he was telling my girlfriend at the time, he's like, don't worry, this ain't his first time getting arrested, and it ain't gonna be his last. And then Mark was generous enough to give me a shout out on WTF.
Lost again! It didn't happen. Chad Ryden came up from Taos. He's a guy I knew in Nashville who I worked with years ago. He's a comic. He's living out there in the middle of nowhere in a buried school bus or something.
No.
Doing an off-the-grid thing, so I pulled him in. He opened for me.
Building an ship.
And I did the show, and I riffed. I talked about Albuquerque. But I was happy everybody came out in Albuquerque. I was happy to see everybody in the audience. And I think it was a very good show, and it was a real homecoming. So if you were there, thank you.
Yeah, it was great. He's been very gracious to me. He wrote the story about going to Princess Chicken in his book Attempting Normal, and he's been very good to me, putting me on stages and talking about being on the show and stuff. And nothing but love and appreciation. He's just the best. He really is the greatest. And he loves comedy. He loves hanging out with comics and talking shit about other comics, and that's really what I do. That was really fun. I needed that. Thank you, Mark.